Hello guys, this is Catherine. I'm back here with another video for you guys. Today I would like to talk a little bit about my planners and journals that I've been using this year, and also talk to you guys a little bit about my goal progress so far this year. I cannot believe it's already February, and February is actually almost over, so that's pretty crazy. But before diving into the video, I would like to thank Skillshare for sponsoring this video. You guys know I've been a member on Skillshare for quite some time now. I've done a video previously talking about this one class I took on fighting procrastination, and I found that to be extremely useful for me because I'm the queen of procrastination. But I will talk a little bit more about Skillshare later in this video. So let's dive right into my main planners. So for planners, if you watched my setup video earlier this year, or actually was that in late in 2020, in December, if you watched that, you know that I have started out this year with 3 planners, sort of. I have my main planner, which is the Hobonichi Cousin. And I also had a Hobonichi Weeks, and I also had a B6 size planner from Nolty that I used as my work planner. So this month in February, I have actually decided to trim down the planners that I'm using. I originally wanted to combine everything into one planner, which is my Hobonichi Cousin. But I just couldn't get rid of my Hobonichi Weeks because I love this size. It's so compact, and it's just very easy to carry around the apartment during the day, and I'm not very precious with it, so I don't really care what happens to it. This is just a place for me to kind of brain dump and write down whatever that comes to mind, and also whatever that comes like if I get some sort of request from a customer or something, I'll just write it here during the day as I'm running after my kid. And then this is my main planner. This is the Hobonichi Cousin from the Hobonichi brand, and this cover is from the Superior Labor, and I purchased this from Baum Kuchen. I will drop down all the links down below so you can go find that there in the description. So this is a zip around cover. I started using this cover at the beginning of this year, so January 1st. So originally, when I bought this cover, I wasn't quite sure if I was going to like the zip around cover, just because I had imagined that the zipper would get in my way as I'm writing. But what I found is that I actually like this so much better than a planner cover that has a strap. So, you know, like Gillio or VDS, Vendor Spec, they have a strap that comes around, and there's a clasp here. So I actually prefer this now, just because even though I love my strapped planners too, let's face it, Gillio and Vendor Specs are both so beautiful, and I have a lot of them. So I really like them, but I just want to say that I was pleasantly surprised that this is actually much more comfortable to use compared to the strapped ones, because as you can see, the zipper portion just kind of lies flat. So it's been very nice to use, and I like that I can just zip it up at the end of the day and not worry about anything falling out of the planner. So I really like this cover, and I'm not very precious with it, and I don't think this will show dirt as much just because of the pattern. I think I'm getting a little bit of a patina on the natural leather here, which I love. But anyway, overall, this is a very, very nice cover, very well made. I just absolutely love this cover so much. So let's go into my planner. So this is my Hobonichi Cousin, like I said, and I'll just flip through it first. So I said I was going to use this as the intention tracker, but I obviously kind of forgot about it. But I can say that I've been living every day very much with intention, so it's just going to be me going back and just highlighting all the dates. This portion I'm using as in important dates for 2022, so as things come up, I will be filling these in, and I'll circle those dates in here so that next year when I get my new cousin, I can just fill in those dates in my calendar. This portion I'm using as my goal tracker. So I wrote out my categories up top. For those of you who haven't watched my video before on my goal setting process, I'll show you guys. So this is the page where I taped down my goals that I have typed up on my computer, just because I didn't feel like writing them out. So I have listed out all the categories that I wanted to work on, and I divided them into different timelines. So I have end of year goal here and a daily goal here. So it goes from end of the year to quarterly, monthly, weekly, and daily. And these are the weekly and daily, the daily, weekly, and monthly are reflected over here, where I also taped down a piece of paper that I've typed out with, again, all the categories here and my quarterly goal and what my daily and weekly tasks would be to achieve that quarterly goal. I like this because I get to remind myself what I'm working towards. So that's really helpful. And for each quarter, I will just make a new one and tape it on next to the page. So this portion I am using as a tracker for all of these goals. So I wrote out all of the categories up top, and then I use a zig dot marker, which just automatically makes a circle mark. So I color coded them, and I just track how I've been doing with all those goals. And then at the bottom, I just write out a summary listing out all the categories and briefly just write out how I'm doing with those goals, just to hold myself accountable. So I did that for January. It's been a success, but I do want to say that I've been phasing my goals. So I'm not doing all of them at once. So with my goal reading, you can see that I did really well because I started that actually back in December. So that was the first goal that I started out. So that was phase 1, and then phase 2 I added in Japanese. I was struggling a little bit here, as you can see, but I really went full in towards the end of January, so I worked on that every single day. I will talk a little bit about that later, but I've just been phasing my goals, so I'm not doing all of them all at once. I'm just trying to make one a habit and then add in another and then add in another, if that makes sense, so I don't overwhelm myself. So as you can see, these are my personal sort of projects, and I haven't touched them at all in January, but I plan on adding them a little bit later this quarter. So that's how I'm using this page. And let's flip to the monthly section. So the monthly section, if you saw my video, if you watched my video before, you know that I have set this up. This is the December of 2020. Obviously I didn't use this for planning purposes, so I decided to use this page as a routine page. So this is where I write out my monthly routine, which is this top portion. So I wrote out week 1 through week 4, and I just filled in the things that I always do throughout the month. And this just serves sort of as a template for whenever I go into a new month. So I can just first fill out these, and then that kind of kickstarts my brain, and then my brain starts working, and then it's easier for me to figure out what I'm supposed to do that month, instead of just staring at a blank monthly, if that makes sense. So this top portion I'm using as my monthly routine, and then this bottom portion I'm using as my weekly schedule. So slash routine. So this is where I wrote out all the different goals that I have, that you saw earlier. So these are the different sections, and then I just kind of divided each monthly cube into half. So I drew a line across so I can get more spaces for writing out goals. And then I just write out what I'm supposed to do each day based on, you know, the days of the week. And this is what I reference when I go into a new week. So when I open up a new weekly spread, I just reference this page, and it's easier for me to start it out that way instead of, again, looking at a blank page. Now on the left hand side, I have monthly bills. A lot of my bills are actually automatic, but it's just nice to see when things are due, and also keep track of subscriptions, because I think a lot of times subscriptions are on automatic payment schedule. So at least for me, I tend to forget what I'm subscribed to. So it's nice to figure out what I'm subscribed to and then see if some of them are not necessary anymore. Just so this is a nice place to do that. And I just wrote out 1 through 31 here, and then just fill out when things are due. And then on the bottom left, again, I wrote out monthly goals here, and I just quickly summarize sort of what the typical goal is for each of the categories. So that's just a nice reminder for myself. I like to have my goals written all throughout the planner, just because if I don't look at them, then I tend to forget about them. So that's just what's helpful for me. And then going to the next page, this is January, and originally I used this just as a place to write out important dates and things I have to do. So on the left hand side, I call this the sidebar, and I just write out the number of the week really large on top, and then I just write out kind of the main priority tasks here on the left, so I can remember that. And these are more date specific items or events. I started out doing planning out my meals here, but I eventually gave up because that wasn't too helpful for me. So in February, I actually decided to use this monthly page more heavily, and I wrote out all the weeks on the left hand side, and then I just highlight anything that's really, really important that have to be done during that week. And then I just write out the different tasks I have for each goal or category, and those are color coded, so that's what the color dots mean. And I underline it if it's a deadline that I absolutely have to stick to. And the orange is for something that involves another person, so I can't easily push them around. So that's kind of how this is set up. And then on the bottom, because of February was so short, I had this extra line here, and I use that as a place to write out specific goals that I have for each of the categories in my goals. So reading, these are the books I want to read this month, and piano, artwork, fitness, and Japanese now. I'm really happy that I was able to combine everything into this one planner, because this year the amount of time that I have to do work has drastically decreased compared to last year. This year I cannot start work until 8 p.m.-ish or sometimes even 9 p.m. Whereas last year I was able to start around 2 or 3 p.m. So that's a huge difference, and therefore it's very important for me to cut down the amount of time I spend on planning, and also be more efficient with what I do with work. I've been a member on Skillshare for almost a year now, and it's been such a big part of my life ever since I started my business last year. Anytime I didn't know how to do something, I would turn to Skillshare to see what I can find and how I can improve myself, how I can cut down on the time I'm spending drawing, designing, and also just learn about productivity in general. And those are the things that I'm really interested in. So I would like to share with you guys some of the classes I'm taking right now. Skillshare is an online learning community offering thousands of classes on various topics for lifelong learners and creatives. Some of the topics that I am particularly interested in are creative writing, fine art, illustration, and as well as productivity. Now let me show you guys some of the classes that I have taken in the past and really enjoyed, and also new classes that I'm very excited for. I have divided the classes I have saved into 4 different categories: photography, productivity, writing, drawing, and illustration. One of the classes I've really enjoyed in the past is Get Unstuck, Beat Procrastination for Once and for All. As you can see, it's only 48 minutes, but I have learned so much about why I procrastinate and how I can recognize some of the symptoms before I even start to procrastinate. I have gained so many new tools to fight procrastination after taking this class, so I'm very grateful for that. A new class that I'm very excited about is Productivity for Creatives. Build a System That Brings Out Your Best by Thomas Frank, because it covers a topic that I definitely need a lot of help with. Skillshare is curated specifically for learning, so that means you will not have to sit through ads, so you can actually focus on learning wherever your heart takes you. And it's only $10 a month with an annual subscription. But for the first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the description, you will get a free trial of premium membership so you can explore your creativity. So let me show you guys how I've been using the weekly section in my Hobonichi Cousin. On the left hand side, I use the top portion as a place to write out priorities and tasks for that week. And a lot of times I just copy that straight from the monthly section. And then below that I had a tracker, and below that I had highlights. So for the tracker, I just track vitamin, water, and that type of things. And then for goal tracking, I do that in the front, in the yearly section. So the first 2 weeks was really nice because my husband was actually on vacation, so I had the entire day to do whatever I needed, so that was really nice. But as the week went by, the time I had to do whatever I needed just decreased drastically. So it became more of a to-do list section, so that's where I would just write out my to-do list. If it's something that if it's something that happens at a specific time, then I just highlight it using orange, so that I know that's an appointment. And on the top, I've been using that as a section to write out my goal tasks. So these are the tasks that are related to my goals that I set up at the beginning of this year. And then as I'm writing out my tasks here, I kind of reference what I'm supposed to do that day for my goals. And on the bottom, I just I used it as a kind of a miscellaneous to-do list, something that's not as important but still needs to get done. So that's how I've been using this. And as you can see, I've been more free with the pens I use, markers, highlighters, and I really like that look. So yeah, sometimes I just use pencils because I can just erase it if I make a mistake or something gets canceled. So yeah, that's how I've been using my weekly section. And then with the dailies, I have been just using it pretty much as a notebook. I do stick to the dates, but there are some empty pages, and those empty pages I will just fill out eventually if I need to use more pages. So this is my January section. This vellum is from my Facebook group and also my website newsletter. So you can download this for free. Every month I release a calendar freebie along with sticky notes printables, and this is usually a preview of the following month's theme. So that's for January, and then let me show you the February one. This is the February one, and I'm currently working on the March one. So if you're interested in getting that, then definitely sign up for my Facebook group. So this I just printed on vellum, and I used double-sided tape to tape it onto that first page of the month in the dailies. And I've just been using this as a place to brain dump and also write out whatever I need. I've been using these tabs to mark out important things that I want to quickly flip to. Yeah, if I'm making a list and I need to continue making that list, then I just tab it, so I know that's where I go to make that, continue making that list. So some of the days are empty, as you can see, but I will just go back and fill those out. A lot of these stickers are from my shop, so that's from my shop. This is from my shop. This is my favorite washi tape from my shop as well. So yeah, so that's how I've been using my dailies, and all of this empty space I'll fill out eventually when if I need to use extra pages. So that's how I've been using my dailies. I love the daily pages so much. I find that this is just the perfect amount of space for myself. Let's see, I start using script sometimes. Just depends. This is pencil. I just love using pencil on Hobonichi because you don't have to worry about things drying, or if you make a mistake you can just erase it. These are the new stickers from this month, February, and I made these sleeping mask using the February pattern, which I absolutely love. Then so this is a new sticker from this month. I love this sticker so much. So yeah, so that's how I've been using the dailies. And let me quickly show you my Hobonichi Weeks. So there's nothing special with this. At the beginning of the month, I try to just go into the monthly page and kind of quickly write down really fast what I want to do that month. It's sort of a brain dump on a dated calendar basically, and I'm really messy with it, and I highlight anything that's important. So that's how I use it. And at first I use this as a place to kind of pre-plan, but that's not always true. I do also use this as a notebook. If I'm just sitting on the couch or just hanging out with my son and something comes up, then I'll just quickly write it down. And so for example, this page is from last week, and this has nothing to do with the dates. Some things are, but most of this is just me scribbling my plan for studying Japanese. So that's how I use it too sometimes. And then this again, I'm just like writing down whatever came out to my mind last night on the bed. And this is a perfect notebook to use on the bed right before I go to sleep, because I always have a lot of thoughts before I go to sleep. So it's nice to kind of just write them down here. And I'm also using the back side as extra note pages. So that's been really fun. I love this Hobonichi Weeks. I'm just going to have to accept the fact that I'm always going to have a Hobonichi Weeks. I love this little tiny notebook. Something about the proportion and the size, and also the hardcover, that's just like super appealing, so compact and portable. So I love this. Now let me show you guys my journals that I'm using so far. So I have several journals. So this one is my Hobonichi Cousin. I won't show you a lot of it, but this is just a place where I memory keep for my family. And I'll link down the video I did a while ago going through how I use my memory planner for my family. So I'll link that down below. And then let me show you the journals first, and I'll show you my reading journal. So this is my personal journal. I can quickly flip through this. This is from Nolty. It's actually lambskin, and it's just so freaking soft, and the edges are gilded, so I love it. It's just a very compact little weekly planner that I use as a journal for myself. So I've used every single page. I've been journaling every single day. So on the left hand side, I just start out the journal, and I need, if I need more space, then I spill out into the right side. So I've been using different colored pens, and that's how I can see which is for which day. So this is yellow, so that's one day. So that's how I've been using this. I absolutely love this little planner journal. Yeah, so, and because it's so tiny, I don't need to spend too much time writing in it, which is just beautiful. And then I have this 5-year Hobonichi that I started in 2019, which is that's the year my son was born, and that's why I bought this. And I believe that was the first year they released this 5-year journal. And this is so rewarding. I just love reading the previous year's entry, and it's just so entertaining to read what I wrote in the previous years. Sometimes it's just, I don't know, it's just really, really rewarding. So that's been a big motivator for me to continue it every single day, because I want to be able to read it the next year. So this is my 5-year journal for my family mainly. So for my family, I have this large one, that's a Hobonichi Cousin, and this is mainly a photo journal. And then this is just kind of like really quickly what happened that day, and you get to have 5 years in one book. So that's for my family. And then for myself, I have this little tiny journal, and also a 5-year journal for myself. So with this one, because I enjoy the 5-year for my family so much, that I decided to get one for myself. But in here, I tend to write mostly about my accomplishments, things I have improved, and also things I need to work on. So that's kind of my journal prompts for each day. I ask myself, what have I accomplished today? What things have I improved? And also, what can I work on more? So that's sort of what I write about. And there's not that much space, so it's really easy to just write a little bit every single day. And I want to see my growth at the end of 5 years. So this is a 5-year journal, and it's not dated. And it's just such a beautiful cover. And this one actually comes with a plastic cover, so that's really nice. So these are my journals. And lastly, I want to just quickly show you guys my reading journal. This is my favorite little thing ever. That's a big statement actually, but I really, really love this journal. So I've done a video just on my reading journal, so if you're interested, you can go watch that. But I'll quickly go through how I used it so far. So here I track when I read. I've been reading every single day, so I don't really need to do that. I can just go back and circle everything. This here I used to track my reading, and I color code the books. So I'm the type of person who reads multiple books at a time, so I use different color pen, fountain pen to track the books I'm reading. And then on the left hand side next to so on top I write out the books I'm reading. So these are the books I'm reading that month. And then I write out which page I read. And then on the left hand side here, I put a circle on it if that's the date when I finished the book, so I can quickly see when I finished what book here. So I've been doing really well with my reading goal. And on top, I just put a check mark next to the book that I finished. And then this planner comes with 3 extra months in 2022, so I use that as a space to write out the books that I've read for each month and when I finish them. So I put the date when I finished the book, put the title, and then how many days I spent reading them, and that can be easily tracked by looking at this because of the colors. So that's what I do here. And then in addition to that, let me quickly flip to that page. So this is also the monthly section for 2022, and obviously I have no use for that, so I decided to use this page as a place to put the stickers of the book cover on here, and this matches up with right here, that. So I'll go by the dates here and then match them up here. And I have created these little tiny stickers myself using Silhouette. So this is also, so this is my TBR list, and it's just really nice to look through this too to decide which book I want to read next. So that's really nice. And I just take off the sticker from here and then put them onto this page once I finish reading a certain book. And this is printed on clear matte paper, and I really like that subtle look of that. And these two are empty because I didn't make stickers for them yet because they were not from my reading list. So that's how I've been using that. And for the regular monthly, I've been using this as a place to practice my handwriting, mainly script. So I just write, I downloaded this app called Word of the Day, and it just collects all the word of the days from different dictionaries. And then I just pick one to write here using different color pen ink. And then, so that's what I've been doing here. So that's really nice to look at, and I get to learn new words or just like see what fun words are out there. And then here, this is turning the page to a new year. This is where I wrote out my reading list, again using different colored inks. So that's really pretty to look at. And here I am using the same vellum as my Hobonichi Cousin. These come in 5 different sizes, so A6 and A5 are 2 of the sizes that are available. So I just matched that up with my Hobonichi Cousin. So see, these are exactly the same as the Hobonichi Cousin. So I've been using my daily pages as a place to journal about the books that I read, or the books I want to read, or just like my thoughts, or my favorite quotes. Sometimes I'll write out poems. So that's a Chinese poem. So that's how I've been using this. February, I've had less time to do journaling in here, just because I've really ramped up my Japanese studies. So with my Japanese, originally I wanted to, this is the textbook I'm using to study Japanese, and this is the notebook that I'm using. This is also from Sojourner's Literature. I love their covers. They're so thin, floppy, and just well made. I love it. So with Japanese, if you're interested, originally I wanted to just casually continue to study it. I took it for 2 years in college, and I never touched it since. So it's been about 10 years. And this year I wanted to just casually study for N3 level, which is the middle level. In Japanese tests, they have level 1 through level 5, level 1 being the hardest, and level 5 is the lowest. I wanted to take level 3, maybe, I wasn't sure, but then I decided that maybe I want to actually take level 2, or maybe even level 1. It just depends on how my study goes. My background in Japanese is not that strong, I guess. So I've only taken it for 2 weeks, two years in college, but Chinese and Korean are my mother tongue, so they're my native language. I learned English only when I was 13, when I came to America. So I read and write in Korean and Chinese. So for those of you who don't know, Japanese shares a lot of similarities with Korean grammar, and there's obviously one of the more difficult parts about Japanese is the grammar, and also the Chinese characters. So because I already know Chinese characters, and I also know Korean very well, and I read and write in both. So I feel like maybe I can do it. I'm going to try for it. But I'm starting with N3 just to kind of review what I already know. So that's what I've been doing, and that requires a lot of studying, So that's also why I've been so busy and I wasn't able to journal as much in my reading journal. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that. But another thing I kind of want to share is so I'm working on a writing project just for myself, not like to be published or whatever. It's just like purely for fun for myself, and I want to learn more about writing, and I have some sort of idea about how I want the book to be, but I don't really know how to go about writing it. So one thing I want to do is kind of coming up with a list of books that I want to kind of study from, and then I'll also be using this as a place to kind of take notes from the books that I read, if that makes sense. So that's also another way I'll be using my reading journal. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I would also like to thank Skillshare again for sponsoring this video. Guys, please click the link down below if you want to take advantage of the free trial. The first 1,000 people clicking the link will get 2 months free on Skillshare. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye!